Ubisoft has announced a delay for Assassin's Creed Shadows. The game will now be coming out about a month later in March after they spent an extra 20 million euros delaying the game from November to February. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. I encourage you to head on over, become a paid subscriber, help support our journalistic endeavors as we expose the woke mind virus that is infecting the video game industry and elsewhere. It costs less than a Starbucks coffee, just $5 a month, and we offer a plethora of different articles on pop culture, video games, movies, TV, comics, tabletop gaming, etc. So, in a post to the official Assassin's Creed account on X, Assassin's Creed executive producer Mark Alexis Cote wrote this: "We want to extend our heartfelt thanks to our incredible fans and dedicated teams for your unwavering support since our announcement in September to further refine and polish Assassin's Creed Shadows. Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews, and the overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us." I wouldn't say that it's overwhelming. People are basically like writing the gravestone for this game. Each week has brought valuable feedback from our community. While we've already made remarkable strides, we believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. Accordingly, the new release date is March 20, 2025. We remain committed to delivering a high-quality, immersive experience fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development teams. We know you're eager to learn more about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and we're excited to share that more updates will be coming your way very soon. Oh, I'm so excited, so excited. So as Cote mentioned here, they did delay the game to February back in September. They said in a press release, they said Assassin's Creed Shadows will now be released on February 14, 2025. While the game is feature complete, the learnings from the Star Wars Outlaws release led us to provide additional time to further polish the title. This will enable the biggest entry in the franchise to fully deliver on its ambition, notably by fulfilling the promise of our dual protagonist adventure, with Naue and Yasuke bringing two very different gameplay styles. We are departing from the traditional season pass model. All players will be able to enjoy the game at the same time on February 14, and those who pre-order the game will be granted the first expansion for free. I don't even think the game's available to pre-order anymore at this point. Anyways, the game will mark the return of our new releases on Steam Day 1. And so at the end of October, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot revealed that the company would spend an additional 20 million euros on development from basically that delay that they got from November to February. He was asked by a BMO investor during the company's first half 2024-25 earnings figures conference call. He said, "On Assassin's Creed Shadows, you guys said you delayed the game. You keep saying it was feature ready, so I'm curious, when you went through and looked back at the game, were you guys finding bugs? Looking back, were you glad you moved it? And I think you talked about an extra 20 million in development costs from doing this. How is that tracking?" And Guillemot responded saying, "On Assassin's Creed Shadows, what we had said was that on the back of what we saw with Outlaws, we need to really make sure that we come with an impeccable player experience. Of course, there are always some bugs, but we've been focusing and continuing focusing on making sure that the day one experience will be well optimized." And yes, you're right. We had mentioned that would translate into about 20 million euros in the total budget, as we've kept a strong level of resources on this last phase of development and polishing. So confirming that they spent 20 million euros, at least 20 million euros, to delay this game from November to February. Who even knows how much more they're going to be spending by delaying it to March, and whether or not this delay in March is the last delay. Does it get delayed even further? Do they eventually just shut it down? Who knows? Take a massive tax write-off. I think they really need to release this game to try and recover as much as they can, but I don't think they're going to be recovering as much as they think. Because as much as Mark Alexis Cote here wants to say that, what did he say? Overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us. I'm just not seeing that. You look over on Steam, the game is not doing very well when it comes to wish lists. It's not doing very well when it comes to follower counts. It's looking very similar to Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now, obviously, that's on Steam. It is the largest PC player base over there, but again, that doesn't really include consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. But I do think it is a good kind of metric to kind of rebut this idea that they have overwhelming excitement. That's just simply not true whatsoever. Anyways, as far as what they're actually doing with this polishing of the game, we had a rumor from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. He says that it includes changing some of Yasuke's story and how he's portrayed in the game, fixing architectural details, and ensuring that the game is historically grounded while fitting into the Assassin's Creed universe. The game is currently not at the stage it needs to be for release, and I'm told that there have been some tweaks to some gameplay mechanics and elements that are going to take time to incorporate. We also had a rumor from Brazilian YouTuber TVPH. He says the game is buggy, which is something that is traditional to the Assassin's Creed series, right? Especially when they are making this transition and internal technology. Assassin's Creed Unity was very dramatic. Assassin's Creed Origins also had a lot of problems at the time of launch. And Assassin's Creed Shadows also offers a change of internal technology within the game that was most likely causing these bugs. So it's not a completely new thing, right? A buggy launch of Assassin's Creed, but there's a very marked difference in the days of Unity. In the days of Origins, Ubisoft was safer, Ubisoft was calm. But in September 2024, Ubisoft had just launched and seen Star Wars Outlaws flop, which was a game that they expected would completely explode into being one of the biggest titles of the year. And from the looks of it, it sold just okay. It did not sell okay. That game is a massive flop. I think the only number we really got was that 1 million mark after the first month. And then we do have the reports from Ubisoft. Those were rumors. That 1 million number is a rumor from Insider Gaming. But the only thing we've really seen from Ubisoft is that the sales were softer than expected, and it underperformed their expectations. My indication is that it did not sell well, and the sales have pretty much flatlined, and that game will not be a long-term performer. Anyways, this guy goes on and says it sold like the least a Star Wars game should sell when there's no public interest in it, right? And part of the problem was that the game was completely bugged at launch. I think that was part of the problem, right? I think he's right there. I think people weren't going to buy it anyways, regardless of the bugs, mainly due to the fact that it is Star Wars. Star Wars is pretty much a dead brand now for the most part, and the fact that they decided to go with a female protagonist. I think that was a major, major mistake on their part, especially basically marketing her as a female Han Solo, a gender-swapped Han Solo. Horrible idea there. And that's probably coming from Lucasfilm, but Ubisoft decided to take that gamble, and they're the ones who decided to push that as well. And remember, Ubisoft is all about the DEI woke agenda as well. It's all over their website. So not kind of excusing their own behavior, but they were also in cahoots with Lucasfilm, with the Walt Disney Company, one of the biggest promoters of woke ideology on the planet, aside from maybe the CCP, as Razorfist likes to say. Ubisoft even had to apologize to the fans and promise that they are working on urgent fixes for performance problems on all platforms, obviously referring that to Star Wars Outlaws. Then we had YouTuber Endymion here. He says, one of the things for sure getting removed from Shadows, according to my sources, is indeed the rap hip-hop music for Yasuke. They had showed that off in a video where he's like basically executing a bunch of Japanese people to a rap hip-hop song. Apparently, Ubisoft brought out a questionnaire, and they had to bring out a questionnaire. This is so pathetic. And they were unanimously told that the rap music was totally wrong and completely unneeded. I mean, you don't need a questionnaire to tell you that. I mean, that's common sense. And it just shows that these people really have no clue what they are doing over there. They don't have common sense because their common sense has been eroded by the woke ideology that is infecting their brains. Anyways, Endymion goes on and says, and that it was actually offensive that Ubisoft believed Yasuke needed a hip-hop battle theme in a game that was set well before such music existed, and it was only implemented because Yasuke was black. I mean, just pathetic. They are also going to be removing dialogue from the game that, according to my source, told me that it would actually enrage players if they heard it. I wasn't given concrete examples of what kind of dialogue, but the source assumed it may have been Yasuke saying some sort of socio-political pandering nonsense about how he was sold by white men or something, and that he hates white men and white supremacy must be abolished and such. Given the fact that Yasuke, the historical character, was a slave of the Jesuits, or at least a servant of the Jesuits, I couldn't see that there would probably be some anti-Christian themes there as well, which we've seen from Ubisoft in the past. Anyways, Endymion then shared this. They're also removing this because, of course, if that were in the game, it would absolutely be highlighted and used to detract even more people from supporting the game in the future. And he's absolutely right. Would 100% completely turn people off and I think make the boycott even bigger. So that is basically gets you kind of caught up on some of what's happening with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft has delayed the game a month from February 14 to March 20, 2025. I just think they're delaying the inevitable. I don't think it matters how long they delay this game. I don't think it matters whatever kind of changes they are making. I think many people have already made up their minds, and they will not be purchasing this game, given the fact that Ubisoft time and time again has insulted their own players. They have embraced this DEI agenda by having Yasuke and Naoe be the main protagonists rather than a male Japanese player, which is what players expected. Players expected a game set in feudal Japan to be playing a character that is from feudal Japan. They expected a male Japanese character to be the playable character, as they've done in previous Assassin's Creed entries, and they chose not to do that. And it's very obvious they chose that because of their DEI agenda that they like to tout. So I think this means nothing. It's not going to affect anything. In fact, I think it just allows more people to kind of realize what Ubisoft has been up to with this game if they don't know already. And I think it's just going to turn more and more people off the longer they delay it. But let me know what you guys make of this delay. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.